I'm Caroline. I'm an occupational therapist here at Mountbatten. I'm going to talk you through some ways of managing your fatigue in your everyday life. It's all about the energy you have available to do things. When we're active, our body puts lots of its resources into providing the energy we need to do things. It's only when we rest that our body has more chance to generate energy and to work on things that restore us, like boosting our immune system. So rest and relaxation is vital in managing your fatigue. We're going to look at some changes you can make to your everyday life to help you balance the supply and demand of your energy. There's 6 strategies you can use: pacing, prioritising, permission, planning, problem solving and positioning. We're going to start with pacing. It's very tempting to rush to do things or to try and do too much all at once, thinking if you can just get it done, then you can have a rest. But it'll take longer to recover afterwards when you push your body to do more than you have the energy for. It's like taking money out of your bank account when you haven't actually got anything in it. You'll more than likely be charged interest if you go into the red, and financially that would take longer to recover from. In terms of your energy levels, it's a case of doing a little bit, then having a rest, and then doing a bit more. So you're giving your body more frequent rest time to restore your energy supply. And this will help you get more of a balance between the supply and demand of your energy. And it's much better to take frequent short rests rather than one long one. Very long periods of rest during the day can lead to your muscles getting weaker and your joints stiff, which makes it harder to move when you get up to do something. And it can cause you to become dizzy when you get up as well. Let's have a look at the different approaches our tortoise and hare take. The tortoise is taking more time. He's stopping to rest frequently. But this means he can keep going for longer and achieve more overall in his day. Whereas the hare has tried to keep going until he was too fatigued to continue. And then he needed a much longer rest period to recover. And he won't be able to achieve as much in his day as the tortoise. So aim to be like the tortoise and don't rush things. Take your time to pace yourself and rest frequently so you can achieve more of the things you want to in your day. You'll need to experiment with switching between shorter periods of activity and frequent rest periods to find what works for you. It's really important to make sure you stop before you feel too fatigued to go on. Don't push yourself until your body tells you to stop. That means you've tried to use more energy than you have available. And like our hare, it'll take longer to recover. Another thing that's really important is the quality of your rest and relaxation. If you're sitting down, but still doing something you find mentally challenging or using emotional energy, feeling tense or anxious, your batteries won't be recharging effectively. That doesn't mean you can't do something while you're resting, but it needs to be something you find relaxing. And of course, that can be different for everyone. Try to find something you like doing, like reading, a craft activity, or listening to music. Or you could use a relaxation CD or podcast that guides you through relaxation. Or you could use the relaxation video on this website. The next strategy I'm going to talk about is planning. If you have certain times of the day that are better than others, it's a good idea to plan things you need to do around them. You'll need to plan to allow more time for each thing you do, so there's time to stop and rest more frequently. Also, break down tasks that take longer into smaller steps that can be spread over a longer period, and take a rest between each step. For example, it might be that you have a shower or wash and then sit in a dressing gown to rest before getting dressed. Or if you're going to cook a meal, you might want to start preparing your food earlier in the day, do the peeling and chopping a bit at a time, and then when you come to cook the meal later, the preparation's already been done. Try to spread heavier and lighter tasks throughout the day so you're not trying to do all the more strenuous things all at once. And have a think about what you're going to be doing over the coming week. If you're going out one day, or you know there's a particular day you have a few more strenuous things to do, you might want to plan to have less to do the next day to recover. So it's about planning how you're going to get more of a balance between rest and activity, and not trying to do too much all at once. You'll need to work out what things are most important to you in your everyday life. And that brings us on to prioritising. You'll need to prioritise the tasks and things you want to do that are most important to you, and reduce or cut out tasks that are less important. Ask yourself, could this task be done less often? Does it absolutely have to be done at all? And would it really matter if it didn't get done? Or is there someone else that could do it? Maybe a family member, a friend, or your cleaner? Or is it time to think about getting a cleaner so you can focus on more of the things you like doing? So have a really good think about all the tasks and things you do in a typical day and a typical week, and decide which ones you could do less often and which ones you don't really need to do at all. And save your energy for the things that are most important to you and the things you enjoy doing. Sometimes you need to give yourself permission not to do things that make you very fatigued. Learning to say no is an important part of taking control over your time and energy. Rather than thinking, I must do this, or I ought to do this, try to only do things when you can say to yourself, I choose to do this because it's important to me. Or I want to do this because I enjoy it. There's also ways to make tasks and activities less demanding to preserve your energy more. It can take a bit of problem solving sometimes. Some ways of making tasks less demanding could be reducing the distance you have to walk to get things when you're doing something, and reducing the speed you do things at. Or you could reduce the effort required by sitting down to do something. We use more muscles when we're standing, and so it takes more energy to stand than it does to sit down and do something. It might help to have a stool in the kitchen or bathroom so you can sit down while you're doing things. If you need to carry something, try to make the load you're carrying lighter, or use a trolley to put things on rather than carrying them. Another thing that can help is thinking about positioning. Sitting in a slouched position or leaning to one side uses more muscles and therefore more energy than sitting in a supported upright position. It also helps to avoid excessive twisting, bending and reaching up to get things. You might want to rearrange things in your home so the objects you use most often are within easy reach. For example, it can help to move things you use more often in your kitchen to shelves that are easier to reach. Or you might want to swap things around in your bedroom so you don't have to bend down or reach up to get things you use more often. If you're sitting down to do something, try to think of everything you need so you don't have to keep getting up to get things. And it might help to bring things you're going to need downstairs in the morning so you don't have to go upstairs later to get them. All these things may seem small in themselves, but if you use all these strategies, pacing, planning, prioritising, permission, problem solving and positioning, they can make a huge difference to your quality of life and enable you to do more of the things that are important to you. I hope you found this video helpful. If you'd like more information, you might want to take a look at our Living Well with Fatigue booklet. It has more ideas and suggestions about ways of balancing and preserving your energy. There's a link to the booklet on this webpage.